Welcome back to State and Local. Today is April 11th, and it is the last interview. I just want to mention that because if you are a candidate and you're watching, or if you're a friend of a candidate, there's still an opportunity for you to come on. The election isn't until May 6th, but if you did want to still, do an interview and you haven't, there's still some time to do that. We could probably get the turnaround to go. At least you'd have some time on air. And we've been showing the interviews in a block. So if your competitor, if your opponent has already been showing their video, it would just be backed up against there. So I just want to say I've contacted everybody. I just want to make it clear that you can still come on and do a show before May 6th. So I just want to say, and my guest is candidate for town clerk, Amy Lehan. Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you. Now, you have quite a resume as far as your education. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yep, I went to UNH. I grew up in Norfolk, and I went through King Philip Regional High School, and I went off to UNH. Where I got my Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, and then I stayed and got my Master's in Mathematics.
Wow.
So I was there a nice long time and had a,
Now, what sort of math was that?
That was in, my degree's in straight mathematics and pure mathematics. I specialized in applied mathematics, so a lot of the classes I took were more applied classes. And since then, I have been working at MIT Lincoln Labs in Lexington, which is a government contract facility. So we work on defense contracts, and most of what I do is I work on a computer programming in MATLAB, analysis type work.
How does that, what is that exactly? Can you explain?
It's more research based, so it's possibly not things that are implemented right now, but we're investigating different possible defense mechanisms in different areas, and if it ends up being something that we think is a viable something, then it would go to a contractor and they would build it. So
now I'm just curious about this. When you get an advanced degree in math like that, I believe you said that it was in straight math.
It is, yes.
Do you have to? I know for a PhD in math, you have to come up with something sort of new. But what about for the masters? What did you have to?
So for a master's, I worked on several different projects, but the last thing I had to do was take an oral exam to actually receive my master's degree. So
goodness!
I had a 3-hour oral exam with 3 professors.
Oh my good! And you had a blackboard, I assume.
Yes, I had a blackboard and would just answer the questions that they asked. And
show your work.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, good Lord! Now, did you teach up there?
I did. When I was in grad school, I was a teaching assistant for several freshman classes, and then eventually I taught classes through the summer. I taught calculus classes through the summer, and then my last year I was a teaching assistant for a higher level math, differential equations and linear algebra. So.
Oh.
Yeah, which is.
So you've had a lot of experience dealing with people.
Yes, my customer service experience, my family owns an inn on Cape Cod, my extended family. Yeah, so I've worked there
This
since...
is the Lehans?
This is the Stones, which is my mother's family.
Oh, okay.
So I've spent many summers on the Cape and started working in the dining room when I was about 13. And when I was in my 20s, I was the assistant manager of the dining room. So,
I guess anything could go wrong in a dining room.
Anything has gone wrong in a dining room. I loved the customer service aspect of that. I love being able to serve people and
solve problems.
And take credit. I don't have a problem apologizing if something goes wrong and hopefully making everyone happy. And then when I was in grad school and actually as an undergrad at UNH, I worked at a sporting goods store. Well, UNH paraphernalia store. So UNH sweatshirts, T-shirts, that kind of thing.
Right.
I worked in the store there, and eventually I was the assistant manager of that store and the off-site manager. So for all of our off-site events, which were football games or basketball games or anything like that, I would prepare for the full event. So picking out the merchandise, staffing it, the credit card machines, the works. So.
Wow. Now, what's the name of what name is the? I'm just curious. And where
Store?
is it?
Hayden
no.
Sports? The inn
yes.
is West Dennis. It's the Lighthouse Inn in West Dennis.
Oh.
Yes.
Now, how big is that? How big is it? Is it a lot?
It's currently 68 rooms.
Oh, that's not small.
It's not small. It's a very nice inn. We are very lucky to have it, and we try and go as often as we can. And it makes me laugh how often we're asked to pitch in and clean rooms or whatever needs to be done.
Oh. Now, why did you want to be town clerk? I suppose kind of I guess who wouldn't really want to be town? I think it's a pretty nice job, but
it is a nice. I mean, I would assume it's a nice job. It seems like a very good fit for me as far as the customer service aspect and being able to serve the town. I really do love Norfolk. I've lived here with my family now for 9 years. I think that's right. My husband and I moved back when my daughter was a year old, and now that I've been in Norfolk and my daughter's in activities, I volunteer with a lot of her activities, and I really enjoy being in the town and being able to help people in the town. And I'm currently I'm a Girl Scout leader for both of my daughter's troops, so a Daisy troop and a junior troop.
Well, I think we saw you that day at the was the
International Day? Yes.
International Day.
Yep. And that was so much fun. That was such a fun event for the girls.
It went well.
It really did, and the kids had a great time, and the families were happy. So
Did you organize that? Or?
I did.
Oh my
This year I did. Yes. And I'll do it again next year because it's.
That must have been quite a job setting because you had to plan all those places.
Yes.
Where everybody was
Yep.
and who was where and bringing the stuff in and.
Yep. This year was my learning year. So
Yeah, but you didn't do it last year because we were there last year.
Yes.
And I remember it was something. Yeah.
So this was my learning year. So hopefully it'll go a little smoother next year. But I was really happy with how well it went, and there didn't seem to be any issues, and I had a lot of people helping. So I was very pleased with how it went. And both of my troops were there, so that was a little hairy just trying to be in 3 places at one time.
Right.
But again, I had a lot of parent helpers that that stepped up with my troops. So
it was very had a very positive vibe over
Yes.
it, and the kids were very nice, very nice.
It was really a lot of fun.
Now, have you been on any boards in town?
I'm currently on I'm the service unit treasurer for Girl Scouts also, which is our service unit is the town of Norfolk. And I'm currently the treasurer for Norfolk Girls Softball. So I'm on the board for that, which is gearing up for softball season, which starts next weekend. So it's been very busy right now.
You'll have to put in some time then, won't you?
Yes, yeah. Right now it's very busy with
Now,
softball.
your campaign, it's April 11th. Your campaign must be underway.
It is. We're working on. We're getting our signs this week. I'm getting my signs this week, and I have some business cards that I'm handing out, and I'm working on a flyer that I'm hoping I'll be able to put on mailboxes or doors.
Right.
I'm going to try and go door to door. I'm going to try and be at the transfer station during some of the busier hours there, and we'll have signs in the center of town. And I'd like to have some teas or coffees and cocktails at different people's houses, hoping that we get those schedules. And I have a wonderful webpage that's amylehannorfolk.com.
Oh.
So anyone can ask questions or visit the webpage and see a little bit more about me. And
Well, that's good to know.
yeah.
Does that cost anything to? In other words, it's just a question of the domain name, right?
Yeah, so you buy the domain name, and then mine is, I have a web builder through a company, so I'm paying a monthly fee for that, but.
Well, that won't last. I mean, it won't be long.
Right.
I understand those signs are pretty expensive.
The signs can be expensive, yeah.
Especially where you see people. I mean, let's hope nobody takes signs away. I mean, I know during the state and the presidential election, it's just, it's terrible.
Yes.
So hope, because I mean, I was talking to somebody and I was surprised at, how much money is involved in that actually, even for something very simple.
Right.
Now, you would be, if you were to become the town clerk, you'd be affected by this House. It's in the legislature. It would be the you might want to look into this, H 8788 bill. Now I had read it, and you had read it, and the last time we spoke, you had said it was about only for presidential elections, which is a good thing because it's a 10-day. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, part of it was that there will be a 10-day early voting period. So anyone that's eligible, which it didn't specify what that meant, but could go into, here it would be the town clerk's office, and vote 10 days in advance of the election. And there would have to be something set up to both safeguard those ballots that'll now be there, sitting there, filled out for 10 days, and make sure that everybody has a private spot to do that voting. And
where in the world would they do it, in that little area there, that little space?
I'm not sure. Something will
well,
have
actually,
to be.
no. I'm thinking about where the clerk's office used to be. No, I'm thinking
downstairs.
Right.
Or,
I mean, there is no space
there's
right
just
there.
a little vestibule area.
And not hardly even that.
Yeah.
And then the counter.
Yeah.
Because before they had it over where the collector is.
Yes.
And there they had a little bit of a space there.
Yeah, it was a little bit bigger over there. Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if it'll involve hiring extra help, or
it may. Yeah.
It's just, I think it's a very bad idea. I know Sean Dooley is on the committee that is, it's in it's not called conference, but they're looking at it on a committee, and he's one of the people on there. So, you might want to call Sean Dooley, and I believe he's going to do his best as far as to minimize the cost, and also to sort of tweak. I mean, 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days is just too much, because especially in the cities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you're going to run into all this fraud. I mean, it's rife with fraud as it is.
Right.
With all these buildings,
Yeah.
abandoned buildings, empty buildings, and they say this one lives here, that one lives there, and they don't update the lists.
Right.
And now, I don't know if in Massachusetts, do they allow same-day registration?
So that's also in this bill right now.
Is it?
Yes. Right now, there's a 20-day. I believe it's 20 days. You have to register in advance of an election. But included in this bill was to
I didn't
change it
see
to
that
same
either.
day. Yeah, same day.
Oh, well, that's terrible. So they'll just be dragging people. I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't. Presumably none of that would happen here. Hopefully,
Hopefully not here, but
nationally,
Yeah.
and again in the cities,
Right.
dragging people in,
Yeah.
and having them. So that would involve. I wonder what they would have to. They would have to keep those ballots overnight, wouldn't they?
They would, yes. And again, I don't know how they would do that. There was some mention of having to. I believe that those ballots would have to be counted the day they were filled out, and I'm not sure if there's an online system where you would enter those results at the end of every day.
Would the machine have to? The machine would be there, right?
I would assume the machine would have to be there, yeah. But those ballots would be pretty much entered into some system by the end of the day, every day.
Because what happens normally? Are they taken to the police station?
After the fact?
Yeah.
Well, they're counted at the polling place. After that,
done that, yeah.
I don't know where they go.
They would have to be.
They would have to, yeah, because I would assume that they're recounts.
But once they go into the computer in that machine, what's the importance of the paper ballot?
I'm not sure.
That they have to be kept like that. There
Yeah.
must be.
Well, as we all remember, the hanging shads, and way back when, there is a history of having to look at the ballots and actually physically examine them. So maybe that's why they hold on to them. Thank goodness we haven't had anything like that recently, but
What a mess that was.
yeah.
Now, so you've got your campaign underway, and so can you tell us some other maybe experiences that you've had back? Well, you were much younger then when you were working at the restaurant. But
Yeah.
can you tell us about any kind of experiences that you've had, dealing with people? Because I could imagine there's not too much friction at the town clerk's office, except
would
for the
hope
dog.
not.
Maybe
Yeah.
the dog licenses being late.
Well, you never know who's going to come in the door. I think the town clerk's office is the first. I mean, it is the first door when you walk in. So, if people don't know where they're going, you never really know who's going to come in and complain about anything. And that obviously would come up in a restaurant. Also, I can remember times where people would be either unhappy with the service or unhappy with the food, and I never have a problem saying, I'm sorry for your experience and I can help you in this way. Because really it is about just keeping people happy. I'm not a finger pointer. I really don't like to say, well, this guy's having a bad day, so you got to give him a break. I have no problem just apologizing and saying, this is where you need to go. Let me see if I can help you.
Oh, there's an art to dealing with people
There
that
is.
are. I mean, I know from teaching.
Yes.
And it took me quite a while
Yes.
to
Teaching is definitely an art form.
to learn that. Now, what was? Can you tell us something about the work that you do with the treasurer's job for the softball? Now, do the parents pay a fee?
For softball, we have a registration fee. And that all goes through another system and then is deposited into our bank account. But now with softball season starting, all the bills are coming in. So we have.
So are they paying the school, or are they?
We pay a rec fee, a field use fee per person. Yes.
But that goes to the school, and then you manage the books, or
So I manage the account for softball. So I paid the town of Norfolk the field use fee, and then we obviously get to use the fields, and they keep them up. So it's the DPW, I believe, is who keeps up the fields. So that all went through actually Ann Proto over at the town hall. So and then
the parents pay you, or send it to you?
The parents paid through the registration system online,
Uh-huh.
and that all went through another system and was just deposited into our bank account. And then we pay for insurance for everyone that plays, all coaches and players. We cover the insurance and the uniforms and.
But that comes out of the fees that the parents pay?
Yeah. So it all goes into the one bank account, and then all of those bills are paid. And we've been using the gym over at both, we use the gyms over at HOD and Freeman and the junior high. We were using all of those gyms this year, so they all have to be paid. And so.
Now, with the Girl Scouts, you don't have any kind of
Girl Scouts is a much
fiduciary.
easier treasury job. We have, like, International Day, we paid for the use of the cafeteria at the middle school, and incidental things like that. We build up an account so that we can sponsor events like International Day, which there was no cost to the girls or families to go to International Day, so we cover the cost.
So you didn't have to pay for that using that room?
No, we did pay for the room, but that came out of our Girl Scout account.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. My one person's opinion.
Yeah. There's a history
of
of
the
using
custodians
different,
to deal with.
Yes, and they were great. The custodians were great. They helped set up the tables for us and all of that.
Well,
So.
right, rightly so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We're at the end of our
Okay.
time, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And good
I
luck.
appreciate it.
And thank you for watching State and Local. I'm Anne Marie Battistone. You've been watching Norfolk Public Access. Election Day is May 6th. And again, the reminder, if you'd like to come on and do an interview if you're a candidate, the phone number here is 508-520-2780, and I'll get in touch with you. Thank you for watching.